Hope you all have a good day. In previous class we learned about the reign of terror and the directory rules in France. In today's class we are going to discuss about the topic, did women have a role in revolution? Women were active participants in the events which brought back so many changes in the French society. So, yes, they did participate in the revolution. So, in today's class, we learn about four important topics, starting with the woman of third estate. We will look at the life of revolutionary woman Olympe de Gauges. We will also look at some of the basic rights set forth in the Gauges declarations. She had written Declaration of Rights for Women and Citizen and addressed it to the Queen and the members of the National Assembly. As she dissatisfied with the previous constitution with the Declaration of Rights of Men and Citizen, we will look at Charlotte and how she justified the closure of Women's Club. Okay students, first let's look at the women of third estate. They are the women who had to work for a living. They worked as seamstress or laundress, sold flowers, fruits and vegetables at the market and were employed as domestic servants. So, most of them had no access to education or job training. Only the daughters of the nobles and the wealthier members of third estate to study at convent, after which their families arranged them into a marriage. The working women had also take care of their families. That is, they cook, they fetch water, cure for bread, and also they looked after their children. In spite of this, their daily wages were much lower compared to those of men. These women, the ones who were educated and the ones who were not, they wanted to discuss and voice their interest. So, they started their own political clubs and newspapers. There were around 60 women clubs started in different French cities, and one of the most important and famous of them was the Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women. So, in this club, they discussed their interests and they will came to a conclusion of what they wanted. So, they had several demands. One of the main demand was they wanted to enjoy the same political right as men. Women were disappointed that the Constitution of 1791 reduced women as passive citizens. Women wanted to vote. They wanted to be elected in assembly and to hold political office. However, as the time passed, there were some improvements in the lives of women. Schooling was made compulsory for all girls. Fathers could no longer force them into a marriage against their will. So, arranged marriage was coming to an end. Divorce were made legal for both men and women. So, they could both apply for divorce. The woman could now train for jobs to become an artist or could even run small businesses. If you could remember in previous class, we learned about a woman revolutionary artist, Nanine Velen, who made the painting called Liberty that shows female form symbolizing the idea for freedom during the reign of terror. Lots of laws were imposed on women. There was a law, closure of women's club, banning their political activities. Many prominent revolutionary women were arrested and many of them were executed during the reign of terror. The women's movement for voting rights and equal wages continued, not only in France but also in many parts of the world. The fight for vote continued during late 19th and early 20th century. The example of political activities of French women during the revolutionary year was an inspiring memory for the women who were fighting for their rights. It was finally in the year 1946, after 200 years later, from when the revolution began, women in the France won the right to vote. The next topic is the life of revolutionary woman Olympe de Gouges. We will look at into her because she is one of the most important politically active women in revolutionary France. She lived from the year 1748 to 1793. She protested against the constitution and declaration of rights of men and citizens because it excluded women from basic rights that each human being was entitled to. In the year 1791, she wrote the Declaration of Rights of Women and Citizen, and she addressed to the Queen and the members of the National Assembly. During the Reign of Terror in the year 1793, she also criticized Jacobin Club for closing the Women's Club. However, she was tried and charged for treason and finally exiled with a guillotine mission. It was unfortunate that her life ended in tragic way, but we should never forget her great contribution to our society. There are some of the basic rights set forth in Olympe de Gouges declarations. However, unlike Gouges and other activists, there were some women who supported and justified the closure of women's club, like Chaumet. Chaumet believes that men are responsible for some duties like hunting, agricultural, political activities, etc. And women are responsible for nurturing babies and household activities. She sees the women who are fighting for equal rights as women wanting to become men, and she criticizes those women for their behaviors. This makes scene very strange because she is going against the women who are fighting for all the women's rights. But in reality, during that period, many women had same views and did not want equal rights as men. Okay students, that's all for today's class.